think that would do?
Yeah, that should do it.
That's 70410B.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Open
So
bookmark.
what question are we on? Sorry,
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, question 7. So let's start with that. Why this one is opening. So question 7 says you have a print server named server1 that runs Windows Server. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Here we go. Question 1, question 2, question 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Says you have a print server named server1 that runs Windows Server 2012 R2. You discover that there are many pending print jobs. The system drive occasionally runs out of free space. You add a new hard disk to server 1. You create a new NTFS volume. You need to prevent the print jobs from consuming disk space on the system volume. What should you modify? So you have A, the properties on the new volume, B, the properties of the print spooler service, C, the print server properties, D, the properties of each shared printer. So if you just give your answer briefly and why you think is the answer.
As far as I'm concerned, I would say the properties of a new volume where I can set quota on it and eventually manage once it arrives to a threshold that I would define previously.
Yeah, okay. Actually, that sounds logical. Yeah, but yeah.
Oh.
Any other thoughts? What are your thoughts, Shami?
Sorry, guys, I didn't hear Stefan's answer.
Sure. So what Stefan said was that one
my
of
answer.
the ways, yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Stefan,
My answer is that.
yeah, carry on. Sorry.
The print server properties. Okay, guys, 1 second. My door's just got up. 1 second.
No problem. No, it's all right. Yeah. And what about you, Adrian? What do you think, and why do you think that's the answer?
It's a difficult one. I mean, well, I don't know if you can actually, say that it has a new volume to server 1. So whether you potentially could extend the partition of that into that new volume, I'd do a dynamic disk and extend that partition. I don't know if you could do that or not. That's something I'm thinking off the top of my head. To give you more space.
Yeah, because if you look at the question, what they're saying is, okay, so they says you have a print server. So one of the things I do, like when I go for the exam, they give us like a pad and that. So I just draw everything out. So I have a print server named server1. So if I go and bring up paint will do. So let's say, so I just go draw it out. So I'll just use this for. So we have a print server. So this print server is named server1, right? Yeah. So we have a print server named server1. So this one runs server 2012 R2. So this running server 2012 R2. Yeah. So they says you discover that there are many when there are many pending print jobs, the system drive occasionally runs out of free space. So in other words,
guys.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry.
Sorry, guys. I'm back again.
No problem, mate. Sorry. So it says when there are many print jobs, in other words, when lots of people are printing at the same time, the system drive occasionally runs out of free space. It says now what you've done is you've added a new hard disk to server 1. So to solve the problem, you added a new hard disk. You create a new NTFS volume on that hard disk. Now you need to prevent the print jobs from consuming disk space on the system volume. In other words, what they're saying is you want to move the temporary location where print jobs are stored when people print to it. You want to move that temporary location from the system volume to the new volume that you just created. So they're saying, what should you modify to do that? So Shami, is Shami back, right?
Yeah, I'm back, guys. So my answer to this one is going to be C, the print server properties, because you need to move the the spooler properties, the settings on there. You can't change the spooler. Sorry. Let me start again.
Yeah.
So the properties of the new volume, okay, that's not going to achieve anything because you want to actually move the location of where it stores the print jobs or where the temporary location is of the print jobs when the print runs. So the properties of the new volume isn't going to be that. You need to do an existing volume. And the other option is the properties of the principal of the service. So you can't actually do anything on the principal of the service to actually say point it to the following volume. It needs to be done within Print Manager, so the print server properties within there. That's what I'm going for.
Yep. Yeah, Adrian, so what do you think? What do you think with Shami's explanation? So the explanation that that Stefan gave to begin with was that okay, maybe we can set a quota on the volume. But that explanation is actually like a logical one, Stefan. But then the other thing is they already said you already added a new volume. So the question is basically how do you move the temporary locations that print jobs are stored? How do you move it from the existing location on the system volume to a new volume? So that's the question that they're asking. So that's why the quota, because the quota sounds logical, but that's the reason why the quota won't work. So the reason why we'll be going through these questions is because they relate to the things that we'll be discussing in section 2. We'll be discussing file and print services and remote management. So with file and print services, so let's just start from that. We'll go to the next one. The next one we'll be doing is question 9. But before we go there, let's just use this one to explain some things. So does anyone want to attempt to explain? So you can use, actually, you can feel free, you can use this one to draw if you want. If not, if you want to just explain it by mouth, feel free to do that also. Does anyone want to explain what happens from when a printer sends a job from their machine to the printer that is connected to a print server? So does anyone want to explain um, the details of what actually happens? So what happens?
To what I've read some minutes ago, the user X launches the print, right? Yeah. So the job leaves the workstation. I mean, the command leaves his workstation, his PC, go through, it looks for the printer, then it looks for the printer driver. When it finds it, it goes to the print server, and the print server manages print, which is done on the printer, either locally attached or network attached.
Okay. What about you, Adrian? How will you explain what happens when a user sends a job from their machine till the hard copy comes out at the printer? So through the process, so we're talking about server printing now. So what goes on behind the scene actually? What actually happens?
So the print job gets sent, and the depending on the actual printer setup, whether it's a shared printer in the directory, if it's a network-based printer or a locally connected printer. If it was a network shared printer, it would be sent onto the actual print server, and the print server would then put it in its spooler for that specific printer, and then that printer would receive the instruction to say, I need to print something, and it would come out. It would be printed.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm writing down all these terms is because all the terms that Stefan has mentioned or Adrian has mentioned, so I'm writing them down. So get ready, you explain them very soon. So Stefan, you mentioned command, and you mentioned printer and print driver and print server, and Adrian mentioned print spooler. So what about you, Shami? What do you think? What happens for the whole process? So someone is sending. I'll just minimize this one. So carry on. So
okay.
What do you think?
So I think Adrian explained it very well in terms of the process of when a machine connects and it says, okay, I need to print this job, and then it will go to the printer, so the print server at that stage, and then we'll go into a queue. So it will, and then the spooler has like a temporary file, so it goes into the queue of the spooler, which is a shared, well, not shared in such, it just goes into a location, and that's what question 7 was alluding to. And at that stage, that is the default settings, and then the remaining stuff is what Adrian explained. But then you have other settings where you can have branch caching enabled. And with the branch caching option is that, let's say you have, so David, you're in your office now, and your the printer that you're connecting, let's say your print server is in a different office. However, the printer is in your office. So when you're actually connecting, if you can't contact the print server, so let's say site B is down, it would use the local printer. It would connect your machine directly to the printer, rather than going to the print server and print it that way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, actually, like what all that you said, you're right. But here's the other thing that we'll do. So now you've mentioned like all these different terms, so we'll discuss it. So, Stefan, you mentioned command. So
Guys, sorry, quick one.
yeah, no problem.
This call is going to be on for a while. I'm just going to go in and get something to eat and then
No,
come back.
absolutely no problems. It's all right. Yeah.
Okay, back
Yeah.
in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, no problems. I need to get something to hit myself. Yeah. Okay. So, Stefan, you mentioned command, the word command. So, what do you mean by command when you said command? So you have to, because one of the reasons why we have the Hangout is for us to give answers, and then we have to defend our answers and be able to explain our answers. So, command. So, what do you mean by command?
In fact, what I mean by command is just the action where the user prints on the print button throughout the interface that he's got from Word or such like things. I presume just behind the scene, there's a command which is launched where the job needs to reach the printer. I'm most referring to the job itself, the execution of a job.
Okay. So, okay, yeah. I'll say, okay. So you said execution of the job, yeah? Execution of the job. So printer. So what do you mean by printer when you mention printer?
Well, regarding the printer, I mean, well, in my situation, for instance, at work, we don't use a print server. We use a printer which is connected to the network.
Yeah.
I guess what really happens when I launch a print, it looks first of all for the printer if the object does exist, and if it does exist, now once it has been discovered. Now it looks like for kind of driver which will be appropriate to read the job, I mean the execution of a job, and to launch the print in X format.
Okay, so let's actually start with this one first. So I'll put this one, I'll still leave this one open. Let me bring up another paint. Someone is typing something, so let me quickly minimize. Okay, sorry. I think someone is sending something like a message. Give me this section info for TeamViewer, please. Okay. TeamViewer. Oh, sorry. Krishna needs the TeamViewer. Sorry, Krishna. I didn't quickly catch let me quickly get the information for you so I can post it. Okay. So while I'm doing that for Stefan. So does anyone want to take this one on? So you've mentioned printer and you've mentioned, so is there any difference between this, between printer, print device? What's the difference or the relationship between these three? Adrian, what do you think?
Yeah, so funny enough, I was reading this last night, actually in the exam book.
Yeah.
Yes, so a printer is the actual driver on the machine, I believe, if I remember correctly. So if you refer to the printer, you're referring to the actual software on the machine that sends the job. The print device is the physical, actual hardware of the printer.
Yeah.
And sorry, I can't see the other one you've got there.
Okay. So let me go back. Yeah. Print driver.
And the print driver is the actual driver of the printer that controls it. That sends that when you send a print job, the print job will look at the default settings of the printer, and it doesn't know. The computer doesn't know what settings the printer has, and it's a printer driver that will tell it, okay, you need to do this, 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 and that, and send it, and you need to, I don't know, staple it or collate it together and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That is my understanding of it all.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason why I asked that, I'll tell you the reason why that is important. Let me show you one question. Look at question 53. So if you look at question 53. So look at question 53. So let me try to bring that one up. Control F. question 53. So yeah, so want to see something. So this is the reason why that is important, because it's good to get the terms that Microsoft are using. So look at this question. It says your network contains a server named server 1. The server runs server 2012 out. Server 1 has the print and document services server all installed. You connect a new, look at that, print device to the network. The marketing department and the sales department will use the print device. Yeah. It says you need to provide solutions from both departments with the ability to print to the network print device. The solution must ensure that if there are multiple document queued to print, document from the sales users print before the document from the marketing users. What should you do on server 1? Now look at this. Add 2 printers. Add 1 printer. Modify the printer. So because in Microsoft Word, so Hadrian is right. So in Microsoft Word, when Microsoft is talking about printer, print device, what they're talking about is something. So first thing, when you talk about your printer, you have like your HP printer, for example, just as an example. So let's say we have this HP 5500 LaserJet printer. Yeah, sorry, I said printer. HP LaserJet device. So as far as Microsoft is concerned, this thing right here that we just bought, this HP LaserJet, so if I go to the website and go HP LaserJet 5500, let's just copy one and one. Yeah, yeah, this is good enough. Even though it looks a bit old, but it will do. So let's expand this. You're copying the copy image. Yeah, there we go. Let's remove this one. So as far as Microsoft is concerned, this one that we're looking at there is not the printer. This one that we're looking at here is just the print device. So this one is the print device, not the printer. So you have your print device, and then you have your client PC. So the computer PC is right there, right? And then you have your print server. So this is print server, and this is Windows 8 PC. So this your Windows 8 PC, this is your print server, this is your print device. So what happens like typically is you have like, let's just make it simple. You have a switch, right? So this print device has a network adapter, you connect it to the switch. This print server has a network adapter, you connect it to the switch. You give this print device an IP address, right? Then you go on the print server and say, I want to add a printer. So this one is the print device. When you add this print device and configure it on the print server, what you have is a printer. For example, if we go here and go to server 1, for example, just to illustrate, let's go. Yeah, so we'll start getting, so then we so let's go to the corner. So let's say now we have a HP printer connected to the network already. And then we go on the devices and printers. We've already connected the HP device. So look at this, we had a printer. And then let's just add something. So you've already given the printer an IP address. So you had the IP address of the printer that you've configured here. Let's just give it anything, 192.168.1.1. Next. So did you get that at all, Stefan?
Yeah.
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 So that's the print device, that's the printer. So when they're talking about had a printer, they're not talking about add this one. They're talking about add this one on the print server, the one you had on the print server. So you can have multiple printers pointing to the same print device.
Okay.
So for example, this one here, we've given it an IP address of 192.168. Is it 1.1 or 1.2? So we can have, so what we can have in the real world is we can have something here. We'll call this maybe test printer one, and it's pointing to 192.168.1.1. Let's say this one. Let's say the IP address of this printer is 192.168.1.1. And then we can come here and give this one a name of test printer 2 and give it an IP address of one and configure it for print device 192.168.1.1. So now you have two printers pointing to the same print device. But when your user wants to print, they can either print to it test print 1 or test print 2. Now, the thing is, why do you think you want to do something like this in the real world? Is there any reason why you want to do something like this? Adrian, what do you think? Is there any reason why you want the same printer pointing to, sorry, different printers pointing to the same print device?
To help with spooling, probably, but also to help with priorities. This is another one. I was like reading about this last night, and they were saying, yeah, to help with if you have this question 53, how would you make sure that one department has priority over the over a different department? And the answer is, yeah, you do exactly this, and you set the priority, and whoever, if one person in each department, they send us a print job to their printer at the same time, the one with the highest priority will go first, and the second one will go next.
Nice
The
one.
last one will go next.
Now,
Yeah.
did you hear that? Did you hear what you just said, Stefan? Did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm noting down as well. Yeah.
Now, in light of that, so for example, so what will happen is, let's say you have a user here. Let's say this guy here is the CEO. So that's a very good reason, Adrian. That's a very good reason why you do something like this. Let's say this guy here is the CEO. Let's say we have another guy down here, and this guy here is his name is, yeah, it's just the job role. Yeah, we like him very much. He's a really good guy, but he works in the facilities department. Yeah. Now, so he signs checks for like maybe, 500 pounds. Where this one signs checks for 500, 5 million pounds. So we like both of them, but this one obviously has more priority, right? So now, but we have only a single print device. So what we can do is configure different printers for the same print device. And like what Adrian said, give them different priorities. So we now say to this one, you have higher priority than this one. So we now give test printer 1 to our CEO and said, whenever you print, send to test printer 1, And then we tell the facilities guy, whenever you want to print, send to test printer 2. Now, test printer 1 and test printer 2 are the same print device, but they are different printers with different configurations. So this is the first task for today. So let's go. Yeah, let's just carry on with this one. Let's quickly want to just install something, anything. Yeah, so let's go next. Yeah, so let's call this HP printer next. Now installing printer, let's share the printer and let's finish. Okay, so Adrian, can you show me where I can configure the priority that you mentioned? So if I want to configure a priority, can you show me where can I do that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Properties, I think. priority. There it is.
Nice one.
Yeah.
And what's the maximum priority that you can set?
99, I think.
Yeah, that's it. That's absolutely correct. So the maximum priority you can set is 99. So, and Stefan, so that's where you set the priority. So you have the same print device, two different printers. You give one a priority of 99, one a priority of 1. So when the CEO sends its job to the printer, so if I minimize that, so when the CEO sends its job to the printer, because it has a higher priority, it will get printed first, right? So
Yeah.
in light of that, look at this question. In light of that, if you try to answer question 53, so we'll go back to the question, the first question, we've not left it, but try to read this one and try to answer this question. So try to read it and then answer the question. So, but yeah, everyone, but Adrian and Stefan. So if you try to answer it and give your answer and why you think that's the answer.
So,
Krishna also. So Krishna, if you give your answer.
well, I would say, I would say the second one, which is add one printer, modify the printer priority and the security settings.
Let me see. So let me bring that up. So let me go to the question. Okay, so which one? Which one are you selecting?
The second one,
Second one.
where
Add
it
one
says to
printer
add, and modify the printer priority.
and the security settings. So what do you think, Adrian? Read it again, Stefan. Read it again. So look at what they're asking you to do, especially in the last paragraph. Oh, sorry, the third paragraph. It says you need to provide users from both departments with the ability to print to the network print device. Now, the solution must ensure that if there are multiple documents queued to print, the document from the sales users print before the document from the marketing users. Adrian, what do you think?
Yes. Well, you would. Hang on, let me just double check the question, the answers here.
Yeah, sure. Please,
before I go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, you would probably want to add, the third one, adds two printers, modify the priorities of each printer and the security settings of each printer. Because if you're having two print devices where you're having two different priorities, so you need more than one printer going to the same printer device.
Yeah. Okay.
So number 3.
Yep. So Stefan, have you decided? So what's like your
Yes. I was about to change it to number 3 as well because I realized it says so if there are multiple documents queued to print, the documents from the sales users print before the documents from the marketing users.
Yeah.
So indeed, I guess it should be done on two printers where if it's queued up, the one with the highest priority will be printed first on the printed configured with highest priority allowed.
Yeah. Absolutely correct. So that's absolutely correct. So you're right. You're both right in that answer. So the answer is C. So you have two printers, different priorities. So that's like a bit of like an ancient way of doing something in today's world, actually in the real world. Because now what you have to manually do is you have to manually. So let me take over the mouse so I can minimize this a bit. I'll go set this one. Whenever I try to move the mouse moves back. So if I go back to this one, okay. So because in the real world now you have to go tell your CEO to say print to printer 1 if you want to print, or you have to maybe configure it for him, but still it has to be
set
aware.
as default. You just set as default, therefore it always prints to that one.
Yeah, can probably do that, but then things happen. So if it loses connection or something, there's no way to like set it to like set it automatically. Well, there's a way. You can always use group policy. Yeah, but yeah, still, you have to like then the other thing is you have to tell there's always like an issue. Like you have to tell the users because the printer you can make it up. You can make both of them available via the print server, and then deny permissions to the guys in deny permissions to the guys in to the facilities guy. But then they have like they can still go around that. Like I know more recently, not recently, like there was a time ago when I first joined the company that I'm working, where where the CEO has a printer, but they will find out that some guys in development were printing to the CEO's printer. And what they've done is they've bypassed that print server completely, and they found out the IP address of this printer, and they just connected their printers directly to this IP. So whatever permissions we've set on the print server doesn't apply. So they just went directly and they just printed. And the thing is that there's nothing to fix that.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
There's nothing to fix it. Yeah. If they can find out yeah, you can lock this one down so that they can see the IP address from the menu here. But if they can find out the IP address and they can get the right driver, they can connect to this printer and have a few day printing to any device. Okay, so that's like the explanation of that one. So let's go back to the first one we started with, question number 7.
7?
Yeah. Okay, so look at this. So we're talking about how printing works. So we're talking about how printing works. So let's bring up another print. So again, back to the second one. So we have a print device, right? So let's say the CEO wants to print something. He opens Microsoft Word, types up whatever he wants to print, and clicks print. So the first thing that happens is that will go first of all to the print driver. So that leads me to the next question that I asked Adrian. So what's the job of the print driver?
The job of the print driver is to get the instruction ready to send to the print server about how it's going to print.
Yeah.
That's so if it's gonna, how many pages there are, I guess, and if there's any special features that your printer might have. For example, it might have an inbuilt stapler, or it might have a different specific tray you want it to use, and it will just send all of those instructions to the print server.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely correct. So that's why that's the reason why I asked you this question, Stefan. The first thing that you said in the beginning, command, because you're actually right with that word. Printers, so your application, you send something from your Microsoft Word to print to the printer. Your printer doesn't get that. There must be something that will convert it to command. So if you go to Wikipedia and type in, we use this popular thing, like there are two of them, but we use this popular one called PCL. PCL, let's go, PCL driver. Yeah, printer command language. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So it means it's a command language for the printer. So when you have your PCL driver, so what it's actually doing is converting like all the things that you've put into Microsoft Word. It's converting them into commands that your printer can understand. So it converts them. So it goes to your print driver, which converts them into commands that your that's printer command language. Convert them into commands that your printers can understand. Yeah, and then it sends it to this printer, which lives where? On this print server, right? So when it gets to this print server, that leads me to the next one, which Adrian mentioned. The service that we handle that is a service called the print spooler. So what's the job of the print spooler? What does it do? So what's the job? What exactly is the role of the print spooler?
I would say something like it does like a kind of polling with regards to all PCs connected, just to ensure if there has been any command launch and ensure that the command has been, like being pushed forward to the print server.
Yeah, that's part of it, but then it does something which is really important. Like there's a particular word. So when they talk about this word spool, there's a particular word that I'm looking for. What about Adrian? What do you think?
Sorry, I've turned my camera off because I'm eating now, so I'm sure you don't want to see me eating.
No, it's no problem. It's no problem.
Yeah, so Spooler, I assume, organizes everything. It kind of puts things into queues. It puts things into the right printer. If there's multiple printers, it sorts it out as to what printer we need to go to and make sure it goes into the right queue and stuff like that. And that's what I assume it does.
Yeah. Did you get that? That's correct. Did you get that, Stefan? So
Yeah.
the print pooler is the one. So the main task of the print pooler, the main task is to manage queues. That's the reason why we put the word queues here. If we go back to this one, the word queue. So that's the main job because lots of print jobs are coming in, right? So there must be something that will organize them that says, hey, okay, hold on, you go first, you go next, you go next, you hold on, you. The thing that does all that is the print pooler. So that leads us back to the first question. So what the print pooler would do is it will take that job like that's been sent and save it temporarily to a folder. Yeah, save it temporarily to a folder and then ship it off to the print device whenever it's the turn of that print job. So the question is asking us, how do we change the location that the print pooler is temporarily saving these files? So the first question is, where is the location? So let's see something. So if we go, so Shami is actually right with his answer.
Hi guys, I'm back.
Okay, you're back exactly what we mentioned earlier.
I just come back now.
Yeah, so Shami is actually right. So look at the options that we have again. So if we minimize this and we'll go back to question 7. It says,
Oh wow, sorry, I didn't know you were still on question 7.
no, we've done another question. So, but
Okay.
we've left question 7. So we explained something on question 59 or something, then came back to question 7. So, so it says the print server properties. Shami says that's the answer, and that's absolutely correct. Where you modify this location where the print pooler temporarily saves job is the print server properties. So if I go back and go under server 1, so Stefan, if you do this, so if you just left click on the printer, so if you left click on it, yeah, then at the top there you see something called print server properties.
Yeah.
So if you click on that, and then if you go under advanced, there you go. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So that's the location of this pool folder. So actually, let's see how it works. We won't be long on this because we've done it before in an earlier session. So if you go open that folder in Windows Explorer, so just open that folder in Windows Explorer. And
Sorry.
Yeah, no,
Just executing it. I can't run any shortcuts here.
No, that's the folder. Just click on the folder icon on the taskbar. So you have the folder icon there.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Then yeah, so if you go to that folder. Yeah, nice one. So it's empty now, right? So if you move it to one side and move it to one side. Yeah, okay. So what we'll do is, bring this one so you can close this one. You can close the print server properties. So if you right click on the printer, right click on it, go to printer properties, and then go to print a test page. Now I want you to notice what happens in this pool folder when you click print a test page. Look at that. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So you see some new documents that just started. So now you have your SHD file, your SPL file, and a temporary file. So this weren't there before, right? But so that's what happens anytime somebody sends a job to the printer. So you see this SPL here, this one.
Yeah.
That's the actual print job. So the formatting or the description of the print job is in this SHD. So this is the actual thing that you will print. The way to format it is here. So this one gets sent off to the printer, to the print device to print. So what they're saying is lots of people are printing at the same time. So this place is getting filled up. So you want to change the location of this place. So now we know the answer to where to change them. Okay. Was that helpful at all?
Yes.
Yeah, very helpful. I never knew you could do that.
But
Yeah, carry on.
David, I've
Yeah,
got a question.
yeah,
Let's say I want to, all of a sudden there is a power failure for X reason,
yeah.
and I want to track back the last sprint done, which is very important for my CEO.
Mm.
Is there a way where I can, like, I would use the term replay this log info or this info to launch to get my print back?
That's a good question. Because what I think happens is if you lose power to this machine, I think by the time you reboot, I think you'll probably be clear.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. It's probably worth testing out in a lab. What do you think, Shami? What do you think? If you're printing something to the printer and they're already stored temporarily in the spool folder, and then
So
you lose power to the print server.
So I think you would lose it because it's in the same principle of clearing the print queue.
Yeah,
So if you restart the print spooler, you lose everything in the print queue.
exactly.
So
That's a good
if the
one.
server goes down and is restarted, you're going to lose everything in the queue.
Yeah,
So unfortunately, I know.
yeah, that's a good one. Actually, let's go here. Let's go partial. Let's go services.msc. So when people say, well, we're restarting the, because one of the things that they will tell you is that whenever you try to restart the print spooler and there's a job that is still stuck in the queue, there are some jobs that even though you restart print spooler still remain stuck in the queue. One common solution is to stop the print spooler, come to this folder, manually delete the files, and then go restart the print spooler. So that's
Okay.
one temporary. So let's look for the print spooler here. So let's stop it and let's see what happens. So now it stopped. Yeah. So okay, let's start it again. Let's see what happens. Still there. But the thing is, I'm not sure because this may not be because when you restart the machine, lots of things get restarted more than the print spooler.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm
I
not
think
sure. I
you
think it's worth testing out in a lab. Whenever we have the chance or something, we can probably do that, Stefan. Just do
Yeah.
like the test that we've done, then go ahead and power off the virtual machine, and then let
Mhm.
it come back on and see what happens. See if they are still existing in the spool folder. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So let's move to the third question. Um, So tough question actually, because what I've done is I went through this document and then just listed the ones that has to do with the topics that we're discussing today. So the next
Mm.
question is question 9. Actually question no, let's leave question 9. Question 9 is not like really directly connected. Let's go to question 28. Question 28 because we're supposed to be discussing file services today. So let's go question 28. Yeah, here we go. She says your network contains an Active Directory forest that contains 3 domains. So a group named Group 1 is connected as a domain local distribution group in the forest root domain. This one, that's the reason why I like drawing out the questions on my on my little notepad. It says you plan to grant Group 1 read-only access to a shared folder named Share1. Share1 is located in a child domain. You need to ensure that the members of Group 1 can access Share1. What should you do first? So just read it again if you need to read it again. Then give your answer and why you think that's the answer. So they're saying you have a group which is a domain local distribution group. So domain local distribution group, you give that group read-only access to a shared folder. So that shared folder is located in a child domain. So the domain local distribution group is located in the forest root domain, but then you have a child domain where that folder is. But you're giving this domain local distribution group access. Sorry, no, not you've given them group. You planned to give them access to that child domain using that group. So you see, you need to ensure that the members of group one can access share one. Said, what should you do first? So who wants to go first? Adrian, what do you think?
Um, in my view, the term distribution group generally means email group. So
Yeah.
when you set up like an exchange server,
Mhm.
you set up distribution groups to send to multiple users.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of key word to distribution, because I don't think you could. You might have to convert it to a security group to give that group access to a shared folder
Very
rather
good
than a
point.
distribution
Very,
group.
very
Yeah.
good point. Yeah.
So therefore, if we're going down that route, we can eliminate B and C because they're still distribution groups, and that leaves us with A and D, or security groups.
Actually, let me add something else. This option is not there, but let me add this option. Um, so even make it a bit more confusing. And the reason why we're doing this is not to just to the main reason is to make sure that we really understand the things. So convert group one to a global security group. So you have A, um, D, and E now.
Okay. Cheers, thanks. Yeah, I need to reread about the meanings of universal, global, and local, and all that. Yeah, because I can't quite remember what they all relate to. Yeah, I need to reread that. But if I was going to be answering this question, I would probably say to convert it to a. I would say domain local. I mean, it's one big forest, and you've got 3 domains in there.
Mhm.
So maybe just a global, actually. Sorry, universal security group.
Mhm.
One of those two.
So you're going for like who wants to be a millionaire? So final answer.
Final, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go universal. That's probably a bit too much. There, giving them universal, because I assume that's going to be giving them access to the entire all 3 forests.
Yeah.
Sorry, all 3 not the forest, all 3 trees,
Mhm.
all 3 domains. Yeah.
Okay. So Shami, what do you think?
So I hate this question as well. Very annoying. The way. So Adrian's right. Distribution, you can't apply security distribution, so it's definitely not distribution groups.
Mhm.
And now you put a caveat there. So if my point is, so with the universal groups, that yeah, you give access to all of the domains, but the downside of universal groups is it replicates each time that you add a user into there, so it creates more overhead on the domain controllers on the replication.
Right.
So that's the downside of universal, and that's why you shouldn't really use universal and try to use domain locals and global groups. And this is the part where I still now I get confused. And there's the saying about IGDLU.
Yep.
Identity, global, local, domain, local, universal. That group. So to me, you can add global. You can add global members into. Sorry, you can add users into a global security group, and then make that global secure or add that global group into a domain local group. For when you're using different domains. And this is the part where I still get confused. I think for this answer, if it was just A to D, it would be universal. However, I think because of the E, it would be E if you added.
I think what you mentioned is correct, although you did mess it up at the end when you mentioned E as an option, but
Damn you, David.
but here's the thing, the key to this one, I think, is this word. What should you do first? So you're actually you're right in your explanation, but then the question is what they want to know is what's the first thing that you do? And we'll get to that one. So what about you? What do you think, Stefan? What's your opinion of this?
I would say I would convert the group 1 first to a universal group. To a universal security group. Well, if I remember well, what really happened, I created something previously, and somehow I noticed that indeed there is the distribution thing and the security. So through security, you can set the permissions, and if it is my file resides in the child domain, and the group is from the forest root, I think that I read something before where universals from the forest, they will be able to access the file from the child domains, in fact. So that's why I would choose the first one, in fact.
So I'm going to go back and that's this. So this is why I hate Microsoft questions, because it's just the way that they word it. What should you do first? So you can't go straight to universal. I think you need to go to a domain local group. So answer is D, and then move it across to universal afterwards.
Shami, come on, you already got the explanation correctly. Now you're spoiling everything.
Was that right? This is
So,
what I mean. This is why I start questioning myself in the answers.
so actually, so back to this one, local. So there are four groups for a micro. In the Microsoft world, there are four groups. You have the local group. So if you can understand the local group, you can understand the domain local group, because both of them are the same, but they're just operating in different at different levels. So local group. So you have a local group on your machine, right? Like maybe the local administrators group. So the first thing is, where is that local group relevant? Is relevance of the local group? Let's use R for relevance. Where is it relevant? So can you use a local group to give permission to something on the domain?
No.
No, it's a local group, right? So it's only relevant on the local computer.
That's right.
You can't use the local group to give permission to something on another person's computer. So the scope of a local group is on the local computer that it belongs to. So if you can understand that, it's the same thing with the domain local, because domain local is a local group, but it's only for the domain. So it's only relevant for the domain that you've created it, because it's a local group. So relevance of this one is on the local computer, on the local PC. And then in terms of where you can, members that you can put into them. So can you put users and computers into a local group? Users, for sure, right? We can put users into a local group, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. We can. We agree, right? We can put users in a local group, just local users, other local users.
Yes.
Yeah. Do we agree? Yeah.
Yes.
We can put computers into a local group, right? Can we put domain computers into a local group?
In sense, yes, you can
So
do.
I think you can, yeah.
Yeah, for sure we can. Can we put domain users into a local group?
Yes.
So domain computers, domain users. So then the other question that we're left with is can we put global groups into a local group? So actually, local group, you can put everything into a local group, every single thing. So you can put a global group, you can put. So now again, I'll just limit this one. I'll put the limit here. So the limit of the one that we're discussing now is when we're talking about same domain. So you're talking about just one. Actually, don't let me use that one. Sounds confusing. A single domain. Yeah. So you can put global groups into a local group. You can put universal groups into a local group. Same thing applies to domain local. Domain local is a local group. Hello. Yeah. Domain local is a local group, but just on the local level. Sorry, or just on the domain level. So domain local is only relevant for the domain that you created it. So you can use a domain local group. So whenever you hear domain local, just think local group, you know?
Okay.
But it's just for the domain. So I can't use a local group that I've created on a computer on another computer. I can use a domain local group that I've created on another domain. So I can only use it on the domain that I've created it. So relevance is local domain. So that's like one of the advantages of using a local group is you can create a group and you're sure that even if you are in a multi-domain forest, that this group that I've created can't be used anywhere else apart from my domain.
Okay.
So that's one of the benefit of creating, that's one of the advantages of creating a domain local group. So you can create a domain local group, put anything you want in it, but that group cannot be used outside the domain that you've created it. So for the people that you can put inside domain local groups, you can put users, you can put computers, you can put everything. So it's the same thing as a local group. You can put other domain local groups. I think did someone get disconnected? Other domain local groups. You can put other other domain local groups. You can put global groups. You can put universal groups. Yeah, did you get that? So this one and this one, they are the same, but just on different levels. So relevance is local, but you can put everything. Global, on the other hand, is the one that has the least allowed membership for global. Because global, you can use it in any domain within the forest. So relevance of global is any domain in the forest for global. But the thing with global is the membership, it only allows you to put other global groups and universal groups. So it doesn't allow you to put domain local groups in it. So it can only allow you to put other global groups and universal groups in it. But you can use it anywhere within the forest. So again, back to this question. Back to this question of that we're looking at. It says, so you plan to grant group one read-only access to a shared folder. So you have this group, domain local distribution group. Yeah. And you said you plan to give, so this group exists in the root domain, right? It exists in the root domain, and you need to give it access to, let's see. Actually, no, hold on. I hope I'm not missing something here. I hope I'm really not missing something about.
So no, but you can also add users into a global group.
Sorry, what did you say?
David, you can also add users into a global group?
Yeah, sure. You can add users, but the thing, okay, let me see.
But you can add users from the same domain. It's the same, so whichever domain, so let's say if this was in the root forest, you could add users from that domain into there. However, you couldn't add users from a different domain, so a child domain or another tree domain into that global group.
I remember this one properly. Let me go for universal. I remember that one properly. Okay, universal. So for universal groups, yeah. So universal, you can use it. The relevance for universal is any domain in the forest, and you can have I think you can have domain local groups. Actually, like let's see. Let's see. Okay, Active Directory. I'm getting confused with the global one. Global one, can we use it? Okay, Active Directory. Let's see. Group scope.
So there, I'm just reading something that said domain users, domain computers, and global groups from the same domain.
Yeah. Okay. So domain. So okay. So that's right. Okay. So let me say that again. So domain users, domain computers, global groups from the same domain not universal groups. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So users, computers, but it allows you to list allowed members and other global groups. And you can use it in any domain in the forest. Can you confirm that if that's correct? And Google
Yep. Any domain resource in the forest.
in the forest, yeah, okay. So universal group, you can use it on any domain in the forest. And I think you can have users, computers, um,
Global groups
global groups,
and universal groups.
global groups, and universal groups. Sorry. And universal groups. Yeah, is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Now with the conversion, um, so with conversion, so again, we have other things like we also have like what you've both mentioned, Shami and Adrian. We have security and distribution groups, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Now you can convert between security and distribution group anytime. So between security and distribution, you can convert anytime. So at any time, you can go convert it. So what's the main difference between security group and distribution groups in terms of Active Directory?
You can't
Um,
apply
the
security.
Yeah, why
the
can't,
security you can just
yeah, carry on.
you can just yeah you can just use the security group to assign permissions upon
Why?
resource.
Why? What's the reason why we can't use them to assign permissions?
Because of the SID,
Yeah,
the
good one, good one.
yeah.
So security groups have SIDs, distribution groups, no SIDs. And the thing is, whenever a user, when you log into a computer, so you authenticate against the domain, so the domain gives you a token. The token will contain your SID and SIDs of groups that you belong to. So whenever you want to access any resource on the network, you present your token. The so it is checked against the access control list and checked against so the SIDs on the access control list or the access control entries is checked against the ones that are on your token that you're presenting. And if it allows you, it allows you. If it denies you, it denies you, and all that. So it's because they have no SIDs, but you can convert between them like anytime. So you can convert domain local to, actually, you can convert between any of these at any time. You can convert between domain local and global and universal at any time. The only thing to note is that when you're going from domain local, you cannot go directly to global. So you first have to convert to a universal group first. Did you get that? So,
Yep.
so you can go actually between any of them at any time, but if you have a domain local group, for you to go to global, you first have to convert it to universal first, and then you can go to global. So my own reasoning for why I think so I think this is the correct answer, and this is the reason why. Because when I did this in the lab, so the reason why is because it says you plan to grant group one read-only access to this share folder. So number one, you're right. It's a distribution group. We can't assign it permissions. But then it's a domain local group, right? So a domain local group, you can't go to global directly, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you change it to a domain local security group, which you can, if you convert it, just convert it from distribution group to a security group, you can do that. But the thing is, domain local groups only have permissions where? In the domain. Sorry, domain local groups, where is that? Did I miss it? Where is it?
At the top.
At the top, let's go back. Yeah, domain local group only have permissions on the local domain. But now you want to grant it permission to a resource that is in a child domain. So you either have to use global security group or a universal security group. But the thing is, you can't go directly from domain local to global. Did you get that? Or is that confusing? Did
Yeah.
you get that at all?
Yep.
What about Adrian? Is that confusing? Did I just confuse you more?
Yeah, I'm trying to follow along. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go. So I'll show you like the reason why I think that, because I tried to do that in the lab. So if I go back to this one, okay, and then log in, then just bring up Active Directory users and computers. See what we mean. So they said we have a domain local distribution group. So the first thing we'll do is we'll create a domain local distribution group and then go from there. Just remember, you can go between any one of them at the same, from distribution to security, between domain local, universal, and global. You can go between them, but the only thing to note is you cannot go directly from domain local to global. So if I go to Active Directory users and computers, and let's just create a test group. Yeah, there we go. So in the IT folder, let's create a new group that fits what they asked us. So we'll call this test. Sorry, not OU. New group. So test. So we'll call this a domain local distribution group and click OK. So now we're like, oh, okay, this thing only gives us access to this domain. Now we want to give this group permissions to a resource in another domain. So number one, it cannot be domain local. So we have to convert it first to something else. So if we go properties, you see global is grayed out. So that's why global can't be the answer, because the first thing you have to do is you have to, first of all, change it to something that the scope goes beyond the local domain, because you want to give it permission to a resource in a child's domain, which is in another domain. So you first have to convert it, but you can't convert it from domain local to global. You can eventually, but you have to go universal first, go apply, then now you can go global and go apply. But to go from domain local directly to global, you can't. So you go universal first, apply, then you can now go, yeah. So that's the first thing we do. You go universal and then security, because that's the one we can. So that's the reason why I think that's the answer. So was that clear at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, even though I think I think we still need to study this one much more, because it can get really confusing and all that. Well, yeah, that's it. Okay, so the next one is question 108. So let's see this one. Let's see. So Ctrl Z. So question 108. So we're just using the questions to explain all the concepts. So it said your network contains an Active Directory domain named contoso.com. The domain contains a server named server1. Server1 runs Windows Server 2012 R2. You plan to create a shared folder. The shared folder will have a quota limit. You discover that when you run the new share wizard, you cannot select the SMP share advanced option. You need to ensure that you can use SMP share advanced to create the new share. What should you do on server 1 before you run the new share wizard? So if you read through it again and know that, and then give your answer on why you think that's the answer. So it's saying now you're trying to create a new shared folder using server manager. So it says when you're now going through the option, you now found out that, okay, hold on, I can't use the advanced option. I can only use the basic option. It said, but you want to be able to use the advanced option. What should you do? Shami, you want to go for that first?
So one of the key things is the quota. The share quota will have a quota limit. You cannot create a quota on a folder unless you have file resource server manager installed. You can put a quota on the actual volume on a drive, but not on a folder.
Yeah, Shami is saying some really important things. So, quota application, okay? Because there's like another question on quota that we'll go through again. Okay, so quota application. So it says folder, right?
Yeah,
Folder.
sorry, I haven't got a question for my screen. Can you go
Sorry,
back to
let me
the
bring it
answers?
up again. Okay.
Yeah, so for me that's key on the answer. So then I would go through there,
Yeah.
and I can see that. Okay, so you need to install. I would go B, run the install feature commander, and I would go ahead and install the FRSM tools, and then you'll be able to actually create a share. To just create a normal share, you don't need to have any roles installed. By default, you can go ahead and create a share.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, Shami, good point. So what do you think, Stefan? What's your opinion of this?
I'm hesitating about something regarding the file server, which need to be installed as a rule, and I'm hesitating between installing Windows. Well, not really the feature. I'm not sure about installing the Windows feature would do the trick. I would say install the share and storage management tool, but I won't be. I'm not sure about it,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah. Well, actually,
Yeah.
let's even check that out. The share and storage feature too. Share and storage feature to manage, add roles and features. Share and storage feature tools, right?
Yeah.
They said use remote server administration tools. Share and storage. Looks like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Well done, Microsoft. Well done, Microsoft. Okay. Yeah. So, what do you think will be the answer then? Or in your own opinion, what will you consider to be the answer?
I won't be saying configure the advanced system settings. The SMB share commandlet. I'm not sure whether it exists as well. Well, the only one left would be to run the install Windows feature.
Set SMB share. So actually, let's try that out. So if I want to test if this command exists or not, what do I do? Get SMB share.
Get command?
Get
Yes,
command.
it's get command. Yeah.
So get
SMB share.
SMB share. So let's see. Yeah, it exists.
It does exist, yeah.
So
I would say, yeah.
So you don't want to rush first. You probably want to
Yeah.
find out what get SMB share does. But yeah, instantly, yeah, okay, I'll let Adrian go first. But set SMB share, I'll doubt it. Oh, sorry, it says set, not get. Okay, sorry, it says set.
Yeah.
I was thinking it says get. Okay, so Adrian, what do you think?
I think for the file sharing, you do get some, by default, you get some basic file local file server options, but
Yeah.
I think to make it into a proper file server, there's something else you need to install. I just can't remember what that is. So I mean, yeah, you would have to install something else. I just can't remember what it's called. And I think it's in the file and the file services role. I think there's something you need to install in there. I just can't remember what it's called though. So yeah, I'm going. You would need to run the install Windows feature cmd.
Yeah, nice one. Like, okay, actually, let's quickly just use that question to run through that one because Shami brought up some really important points. So when it comes to like file and storage services, yeah, you can create your files, your folders, right, and share them on the network and all that. Now, if you want to set quota on them, there are two ways that you can set quota, or there are two levels that you can set quota. So, Shami, what are those levels? You mentioned them earlier. So there are two levels that you can set a
Okay,
quota.
yeah. So you can set a quota on the volume
On the
directly,
volume, yeah, on the volume directly.
and then the other option is you can select a quota on the folder.
And on the folder. So if you go ahead and show where we can set a volume on the, sorry, where we can set a quota on the volume level and then also on the folder level.
So to set the volume on the volume, you'd go into here and the quota management,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can enable it here.
Yeah, nice one. So you can either set it on the quota level, sorry, on the volume level. So, and then you can set it, you said on the folder level. So how do I set it on the folder level?
So so Adrian was right in the sense that you do need to install a role. It is the file, you have to go into file services, and within there you have the role
First of
called
all, let's prove what Microsoft said. So Microsoft said you try to create it. So, but okay, hold on. File and storage services is installed by default, right? Sorry, file and
yeah.
iSCSI services. So if you try to create a quota on the folder level, and let's see what happens. So before we install the roles.
So if I go into here,
Yeah.
and if I use the same principle as the volume, I will right click properties, and in here there isn't an option to set a quota.
So my question will now be, do you think that after installing a feature, you'll be able to set a quota from here?
No.
Why?
The reason is you need to do it through that feature set, so that RSAT application.
Which RSAT application? Like what was it called? Like the RSAT application. So if you go ahead and install the feature that you, and then let's see the RSAT application. So
you need to install the file server resource manager.
Okay.
I go ahead and next.
And then yeah, it should be quick. So I'll tell you my own thought or my own opinion is that the answer that you, so why that is installing is that I also go for B. And one of the reasons is because I've actually labbed it. I've actually labbed it, so I've tested it out in the lab. so so configure advanced system settings is definitely not it, because if you right click a system and go advanced settings, there's nothing there about quota. Run certain SMB share. So if you go, so what I did in the lab was come here and just go. So I updated the op. So let's go get help, set SMB share. Yeah, so look at what, so let's look at what it does. Modifies the property of the server message block share. So if you've shared something, it can modify the property. But part of the properties, like what Shami was saying earlier, is that part of the properties is that you can come here and go properties here, and you ever find a folder, a tab here that says set quota. There will never be a tab here that says set quota, at least for now. So you have to do it via server manager. So you won't find it under properties. So it's not set SMB share commandlet, and it's definitely not this tool because it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So I'll go for B. So let's see if that really installed the role. Should be quick. Yeah, carry on, Shami.
Okay, so
Yep.
the role is now installed.
Yep.
So we can go ahead and launch that application.
So yeah, if you go ahead, show us how to set a quota.
And you go launch application file server resource manager.
Yep.
And then you have multiple options in here. And you can have screening set so then people can't save certain files, MP3, WMA files, so and so. But then in here, this is where you will set a quota, and you select, you navigate to the path. So in this instance, we go to the test folder.
Yeah.
And you can set a limit. So there is some templates which are built in to when you install the role, which give you options. So by default, you got the 100 meg limit, you got a limit report, and so on. So for this, let's just go ahead and set a custom property.
actually, yeah, nice one, Shami. So actually, there's another question that I remember now. There's another question about this one that I remember, where they asked the question about what is it that if you set a quota on the folder level using this method, what feature is available using this method that is not available when you set it on the volume? Do you know what the feature they're talking about? So they're talking about there's a feature that if you set a quota on the folder level using this option that you just did, or if you set it using the other way using the volume, there's a feature that you can configure here that you cannot configure on the volume.
Maybe the email settings where
Exactly,
it
yeah.
generates mail to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was one of the options. One of the options was send emails to an administrator whenever a user exceeds their quota or something. So you can't do that on the volume level. So you can log events,
Yep.
and you probably can, because if you log events, you can actually tie it in to send emails. Yeah, yeah, you probably can, because yeah, you can tie events in to say if this event happens, send an email. But yeah, but that's like that one you can basically just go from there and just
It's
configure
straightforward
that.
in here,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, nice one, man, nice one. So let's take a couple more questions for today. So next one on this list is question 130. Question 130. And then, wow, I can see one interesting one. Question 130, then question 142. Yeah, carry on. So it says you have a server named server 1 that runs Windows Server 2012 Auto. You need to enable access-based enumeration for a file share on server 1. Which tool should you use? So first of all, does anyone know what access-based enumeration is?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's whenever user X hasn't got access to a folder.
yeah,
So when user X will be accessing the shared Y, for instance,
yeah,
he won't be seeing the folder at all.
yeah,
He will only see all those folders to which he's supposed to get access.
yeah. Nice one. Very nice one, Stefan. So if you go ahead and show on this one how you configure. So Shami just created a folder, right? Test, called test, under the E drive. So if you go ahead and configure access-based enumeration on that folder,
Yep.
because
Not
once
sure if I had
if you can
that.
configure it, you know the answer to that question that we're looking at. Yeah, that's
Well,
the answer to the question. So they basically say, how will you do that?
nope, not sure it should be. Yeah, nope.
You're actually in the right direction because you have to share it first.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's see, I shared with everyone's group. Sorry. Right. Let's see, everyone will be having just read and write. Shared. Okay. What about security? I won't be missing. No, it's not there. Permissions.
Adrian, do you want to help Stefan out?
I believe you would probably have to go into the tool we just installed, wouldn't you? File Server Resource Manager, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. So let's carry on. So let's try that. So
you take a while.
Yeah, I can take over. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's try that. So we want to configure access-based enumeration. So where do we do that?
Hang on.
Shami, you want to help Adrian out?
Yeah, I think I'm in the wrong area.
So you need to do it through Server Manager.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's that exactly answers that question.
Yeah.
The reason why we're doing it this way is because we'll remember easily. Yeah. So go ahead, Shami. So where do we configure it there?
I haven't actually done it, but I know you do it through here.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
So that's the only place where you can do it. Of course, you can use PowerShell to do it also, but from the GUI, that's the only place that you can configure access. You can enable access-based enumeration. So in light of that, let's go back to the question. So what do you think the answer is? Does anyone
It's
want
a
to go?
major.
Anyone want to go for D? No.
And neither for the second one for B.
Share and storage management. Where in the world does that? Okay, maybe there's a new tool because actually the servers that we're using is Server 2012. So maybe there's a new tool in Server 2012 how to code share and storage management. Or maybe Microsoft is just lying. So the next one, this one is a bit tough. It requires a bit of brain cracking, a little bit, not that much. Question 142. So we'll take two more for today. So question 142. So the next two that we'll take are a bit brain cracking. So question 142, and then the next one is question 180. So yeah, let's start from the beginning. Question 142. So it says you have a shared folder named share1. The folder permissions of share1 are configured as shown in the folder permissions exhibit below. So you have the permissions below for share1. So look at the permissions properly, and we can move on.
Okay.
Yep. So this says the share permissions of share1 are configured as shown in the share permissions exhibit. So this one is for the NTFS permissions, and it says the share permission. We've gone too far. So yeah, yeah, that one. So that's the share permission, and the one at the top is the NTFS permission.
All right.
Yep. So next time, let's go down a bit. Yep. So now they've given us the group properties of this group one. I need to move because of the light is going off here. Yeah. Okay. So so we have that group properties. So they say select yes if the statement can be shown to be true based on the available information. Otherwise, select no. So they've given us some information, and they're saying based on the information that we've given you, select yes. So the first one is this. Let's see the first one. Yeah, they said user one will be able to delete the files in share one. Yes or no? So we want to go back to the permission. So what do you think?
Yeah, we need.
So
David, can you show us
yeah, I
the
think
first slide again?
I think Shami is controlling it now. Shami, right? Are you controlling it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
All right, so the guys got full
so
control.
user one,
Okay.
user one be able to delete in share one. So remember,
Yeah.
user one is a member of group one.
Yeah.
So group one has read and execute NTFS permission. What about share permission? What do they have? Yep. So does anyone want to see the share permission? You can feel free to take the mouse and scroll. Yeah. So share permission, user one has. Okay, everyone has changed permission.
Change permission.
User one has read. Which permission do they have in NTFS?
Read and execute.
Read and execute.
It's the read and execute. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So will user one be able to delete things in this folder? Yes or no?
I would say no.
No.
I would say no.
Yeah. So Adrian, Shami, what do you think? So everyone has changed share access and user one share permission, and user one has read and execute. So do you think you'll be able to delete?
Think no.
No. Okay.
Is my initial thoughts. Yes.
Shami, what do you think? Shami is still studying this. So group one, read and execute.
Oh, sorry guys, I was on mute. I was talking, but you couldn't hear me.
Yeah, now it's
Yeah,
happened to everyone now, so that's good. I feel better.
it's no, yeah. For the first part is no.
No. Um, let's see. Read and execute, and read and execute, and everyone has changed. I'll say yes. Oh, okay, no, okay, hold on, no, sorry. I think yeah, no, sorry. No, I think it's no.
You can't take your answer back, David. You said yes.
Got to take your first answer.
No, sorry, I was using the wrong rule. The rule that I was using was the one where it's cumulative access, but that's the wrong rule.
Okay.
Because when it comes to share and NTFS permissions, the least restrictive rule we apply.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so the least restrictive one in this case is read and execute. So they
Read
won't
and
be, yeah, so
execute.
I agree with you. Come on. Yeah. So what's the next one? So user one won't be able to delete. So what's the next question? Say user two will be able to delete the files in share one. I think that's the next one. Yeah. Yeah, we've gone too far.
Oops.
Way too far.
Sorry.
I'm saying
Yeah.
yes on that one.
So if you scroll down a bit,
It's difficult, isn't it?
scroll down a bit. Yeah, scroll down a bit more. Yeah. Okay.
Very
That's user two will be able to
Okay,
delete the files in share one.
So let's have a look at user 2.
I think I'm going to say, hang on.
User two will be
But
able
before
to
I say that, hang on.
delete-
Let me
to
double
delete.
check.
No, you can't take your answer back. Sorry. So user two will be able to.
Something's.
I think so.
I'm
just wondering why is user 2.
Yeah, I looked at it. It looked
To
confusing.
use it to yes, because
it
the
looked-
user,
Yeah,
it might not be stated.
Everyone.
exactly. That's why I thought.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So user two will refer to everyone. So user two will be able to delete. So everyone can modify, and everyone can change, and everyone can modify.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say yes.
Mm.
Can I double check the NTFS permission again? So everyone can change here. So NTFS they can modify. So that yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think? Shami, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Adrian? Yeah.
Yes, I'm going yes as well, yeah.
Stefan?
Yes, but I do have a question, David.
Sure.
I'm confused when we talk about authenticated group and everyone.
Authenticated. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Does anyone want to help with
Because-
that explanation? Authenticated group, and when you say authenticated users, you mean? So it's called authenticated.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
there's a default group. So actually, Microsoft TechNet, the articles that we were going to for this week, they have a wonderful article on that on TechNet, where they talk about the default groups in Windows. So so it's part of the default groups. So does anyone want to explain that? So what are authenticated users? Or what are they?
Domain users, members of the domain.
Yeah. What do you think, Adrian? What are authenticated users?
Yes, any user who is a member in the domain, who's a user account in domain, is a authorized user.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's what it means, Stefan. So it simply means a domain users that has logged into the domain, that has been like what Adrian said, it has been authorized by the domain. So it's logged into the domain. The domain has gone through the whole, identify, authenticate and authorize. So once the guy is authenticated, then he is an authenticated user. So whereas everyone means the person may not even be a member of your domain. So
Okay.
everyone means
And
a user can come to your network, plug in their machine to your network, go / 192.168.1.1, and they have access to that folder. Even though they don't have a domain account, even though their machine is not joined to the domain, they've not authenticated against the domain, they still have access to that folder because everyone means everyone.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So the last one here, it says Condos administrator will be able to delete the files in share one.
So oops, sorry.
No problem. Administrators full control share. So what do they have on NTFS? NTFS, they have administrators have no NTFS permission. So actually they do. Administrator is the owner. Yeah, sure, for sure. I think they'll be able to. Yeah, because they're the owner of the group and then they have full control on share. So, sorry, they're the owner of the folder. So I'll say yes.
They're not the owner of the folder, I don't believe.
They are.
It's server 2/administrator, where we're being asked contoso/administrator.
Let's see. If you scroll down again, let's see the question again. I put a hold on my answer, sorry.
It's Microsoft being sneaky again.
Let's see. No, we've gone too far. We can go. No,
So the local administrator of the server is the owner.
That is
but we're being asked about the administrator of the actual domain.
Contoso/administrator will be able to delete. Okay, yeah. Nice one. Nice spot, man. Nice spot, Adrian. I didn't see that at all.
You've always got to double check those things.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't see that. I was going for. So let's go back. So okay, network look, yeah. Oh, okay, I see. Administrators, server 12 administrators. Yeah.
I mean, I think they would be able to delete it because if the user 2 can delete it, do we say user 2 can?
Yeah.
If user 2 can delete it, then the administrator, because they're not a member of group 1.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think they'll be able to delete it as well, yeah.
Are you sure that there's no group that qualifies them here? What about it? Yeah. Let's go back to the share again. Let me see. Let me just make sure that because maybe they're hiding. Who knows what else they're hiding?
Because the share says administrator, but that's the local administrator.
Yeah.
Server 2/administrator has full control.
Yeah.
But the fact that we said user 2 can delete it,
yeah,
the domain administrator should be able to delete it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's
Yeah, I agree with Adrian. I agree with Adrian. Yeah. So what do you think, Shami?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. What about Stefan? What do you think?
I agree as well, but I need your advice. If I say that Contoso/administrator may also form part of everyone, so everyone having access to modify on NTFS.
Yes.
And I think regarding the share, it's full control, so obviously administrator should be able to delete it.
Yeah. So that was the reasoning. Yeah, that was the reasoning that Adrian gave.
It's also in the real world. Generally, the domain administrator should have access by default on. You should make sure the domain administrator has full share access and full folder permissions. In the real world scenario, because if something goes really screwed up, you want to make sure you can get in there as an administrator. So in a real world scenario, you should make sure the domain administrator has full access to that folder.
Yeah.
That's what I do as a domain administrator. I always make sure the domain admin account has access to the entire share I'm creating.
Yeah.
Before I give anyone else access.
Yeah.
Just in case something gets screwed up and someone manages to change some permissions somewhere, and I'm got my own login account gets locked out for some reason, then I at least have the domain administrator account to go in there.
Yeah.
And change things around.
Yeah, and then there maybe other things like that one we have to consider, like maybe if you have like a backup application that uses a service account to backup locations and stuff like that, you have to have at least read permissions and all that. So that's absolutely correct. So last one for today, 180, question 180. So that one also has to do with shared folders and all that. Question 180. So we want to do that. So let's Control F and question 180. Yeah. Next. So yeah, let's go. So yeah, it says you have a file. Back up a bit more. Yeah, it says you have a file server named server1 that runs Windows Server 2012 R2. Server 1 contains a folder named folder1. A user named user1 is a member of group 1 and group 2. A user named user2 is a member of group 2 and group 3. You need to identify which actions the user can perform when they access the files in share 1. What should you identify? So user 1, can user 1 read the files on share 1? Is a member of group 1 and group 2. So user 1.
Yes, he should. Yeah.
Can
Yes.
you read the files? User 1. I won't rush. There we go. Read and write full control. So that means it's got read and write, and then read. So it's got read and write. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. User 1 can.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Shabby? You think user 1 can?
Yes, the
Yeah.
user
Okay.
will be able to read and write.
Yeah. What about user 2? User 2 is a member of group 2 and group 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Read and execute. So this one equals read and execute. Yeah, sure, you can. Yeah, carry on, Stefan.
I'm a bit doubtful about user 2 because I found something regarding list and execute, read,
Yeah.
and I think the other one, I don't get it. And at a point of time, if I don't give the list and execute, the user will see the folder, but he can't access it.
Read and
I've
execute.
got a case, yeah.
So read and execute.
I've got a case like that.
Read and execute should be able to read the folder, and then should be able to
list and execute, thing like that.
Execute applications, like if you have like a .exe in it. So for example, if you give a user just read, yeah, so you give a user just read to an application. So we go on server 1, we have this one. Let's call so this test one, we've already shared it. So let's go properties. There's a user that we have on this network called the one we're testing with yesterday. So you shared with everyone, yeah. So let's go properties, security. So there's the just remove everyone.
Sorry. It's folder contents.
Okay. List folder content and what?
And then I needed to choose so the read and execute, list folder contents, and read, so that for the user to get the read access. I mean, where he can open the folder and see what's the content. But if I check only read, it didn't seem to work with him.
No, only read should work. So if I check this one, so let's remove this one. So actually, if you list folder and content, basic permissions is basically, maybe except you go to advanced permission. Basic permission gives you read and execute at the same time. So we go advanced permission. Okay. List folder, read data. Is this what you're talking about? Maybe you just give them list folder, read data. Maybe if we remove read attribute. So I think this one, they'll only be able to see the folders.
Yeah.
Will they be able to read the files in the folder?
No.
Okay.
No, yeah. Because they need read permissions for that.
It's confusing that with the new advanced
exactly,
options is very confusing with permissions. I still go ahead and use the old style share options and old style security, the folder security settings on there, rather than using the new format. Because like you say, Stefan, that is confusing. When you see that and it says list folder, read data, you would presume that the user would be able to open a file and read data, but that's not the case. That is just list folder access. They would be able to see the content of that folder and if it's inherited to other subfolders, but they wouldn't be able to actually open up the Word file or PDF file or JPEG.
Yeah. How about Adrian? You got anything to add?
No, yeah, I pretty much agree with everything that was said there. Yeah, I haven't really got. Yeah, I mean, I do sometimes. Yeah, I do get a bit confused myself with the different types of permissions and everything. Yeah, but it's yeah, you just have to you do the best you can with them, really.
Yeah.
And it's just like trial and error and stuff.
You should have seen what happened yesterday, because during yesterday's Hangout for the US one, although the internet was really messed up, we went a different direction, but the recording wasn't good either. Because what we did was we did a task together instead of doing this one. So we did a task of setting up a shared folder on the network, and then the task was set a folder, redirect users document to that folder, so that when users log in for the first time, it will redirect their My Documents to the shared folder and create their own space for them.
Yeah.
And that was interesting, because we just left them alone. We're like, oh yeah, carry on, try to try to do it. And then they were having issues with permissions, which permissions we have to give them to be able to to be able to do that and all that. But yeah, that was, yeah, it'll be fun for us to go through that sometimes together. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to the question, the final one for today. So group 2 and group 3. It says a user named user2 is a member of group 2 and group 3.
Guys, one thing just to add,
Yeah.
I think this is something, David, you said on the last question, which is really key in looking at this in the context. It says a user named user1 is a member of group 1 and 2. A user named user2 is a member of group 2 and 3. Now, we know when it comes to permissions, it's least resistive. So we can straight away ignore group 2. We don't even need to look at group 2. We should just imagine, whoops, I just messed that one up. We should just imagine that the user1 is a member of group 1, and the user of member 2 is just a member of group 3. And we can just ignore group 2 straight away because the way that the permissions are actually applied.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I agree. Yeah. Because for share combination of share permissions and folder permissions or interface permission, least restrictive we apply, but combination between group permissions, if they allow, they'll be cumulative. So if they already have read and write here, because combination of this one and this one equals read and write, then they will automatically have read also. Then if they've got read and execute here, combination of this one and this one equals read and execute, then they already go read also. Yeah. Okay. So will user 2 be able to read the files? I agree they'll be able to read the files. Yeah. So what about edit the content of the files? User 1.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I agree also. Yeah. So what about user 2? Edit the content of the file.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I think so.
No.
I would say no.
No. User 2 won't be able to.
Because of a read and execute on the folder.
Yeah. So they only have read and execute.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they only have read and execute. Execute, we won't allow them to change the folders. Because I actually labbed this one also. Because that's what I do with this ones. I just go on the lab and just test them out myself.
Best way to do it, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah. So delete files created by other users. User 1. Will user 1 be able to delete files created by other users?
No.
You sure? Read and write. You sure?
Internet, no.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a separate delete permission, isn't there? There's a delete permission, so they'll be able to read and change. If they opened up a file and wrote to it, made some changes, they'll be able to save it back, I believe, but they wouldn't be able to delete because they need special delete. They need the delete permissions to delete it.
Yeah. What do you think, Shami?
Yeah, same.
What about Stefan? What do you think?
No, because I'm thinking about the folder permission, which is like I won't be saying taking precedence over the shared permission, but I mean folder permission, it's more granular. So what you can do maybe through the network, you can't do it exactly on the folder or file. And since it's read and write, I don't think the user will be able to delete the files.
No, it would be because
I think the only way the user would be able to delete the sorry, I completely lost what I was going to say there. Ignore me. Sorry.
No. But think about it. What if the user has modified permissions? Let's say user one has modified permissions. Would they be able to delete files created by other users?
Yeah, they would be able to delete files
if they have modified permissions.
Yep, and I think they will be able to delete files if they had write permissions as well. I'm changing my answer.
If they have write permissions, okay. So who agrees or disagrees with Shami on that? So there's a user that we can test with. So user one here. So he has read and write. So full control, read and write. Yeah, I mean, who wants to? I mean, Adrian said he thinks the user will be able to, if they have read and write, they'll be able to.
I think they'll be able to open up a file and make changes and save it back. But in terms of deleting, I don't think they would be able to, because they would need to delete. I don't know. I might be proven wrong.
So let's go to April. So let's give April just read and write, right? Not read and execute, not all these other ones. April just has read and write, right? So has full access on share permissions, or doesn't matter? Yeah, full access on share permission, read and write on this one. So April has read and write on this one, right? That's correct, right? Yeah. And then share permission.
Full access.
They have, everyone has full access. So that applies to Adrian, April, yeah. Okay, so we have a client here. So let April log into client. So April. So let's see April. Let's see the access that April has. I don't think April will be able to delete.
You mean because of the folder?
Yeah, write will allow you to make changes to that, but it will allow you to delete. So you can change the files, you can add contents to it, and you can create, but you can't delete. For you to be able to delete, you have to have at least modify permissions.
Modify, yeah.
What do you think, Shami?
I think you can delete. I think if you had read, write, execute access, you would be able to delete.
Yeah, let's see. I think for you to be able to delete, I think you need modify. Adrian, what do you think? For you to be able to delete, do you think read and write access is sufficient?
No, I think you would need modify, or I think you need to enable special permissions and go into the advanced and tick delete.
So actually, let's go back to server one. So we have this folder here. So let's just create a new folder. Yeah, so we have this new folder created by administrator. So then let's go back to long client one. So let's go to long server one. Long server one. Yeah, there we go. We have test here, and then we have new folder here. So we have read and write, so we should be able to go new folder, and that should work. But even the folder that I create, if I try to delete it, it shouldn't allow me to delete it. Because I need modify permissions. So read and write will only allow you to make these little changes, but if you want to delete, you need to modify.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to the question then, and then let's see. So yeah, so user 1 won't be able to delete. What about user 2? Read and execute.
Read and execute. Neither.
Yeah, I agree. User 2 won't be able to delete. What about modify the permission on the files? I don't think either of them will be able to.
User 1, no.
No, yeah.
And user 2, read and execute and change. Nope, you won't be able to modify it.
Yeah. What do you think, Shami and Adrian?
Yeah, no, again.
No, yeah. I don't think you'll be able to.
Yeah. This one is an interesting one. The last one, run executable files. So will user 1 be able to run executable files?
May I start with user 2? I would say yes.
So what about user 1? He has read permissions, he has write permissions.
I'm not sure. I believe if he can write, he should be able. He should be able to execute it as well.
What do you think?
So I would say
it makes sense. Yeah, if you have write access to that folder, you should be able to execute something.
What do you think, Xavi?
Because you can have permissions where you can just have read, and you can just have write, and then you can have read and write, and you can have modify. So for this example, that the user will be able to, for user 1, user 2, yes, I agree with Stefan on that one. But user 1, no, they will just be able to actually create new files in there or copy files in there and read the existing ones. But when they actually execute a file and execute what they wouldn't be able to.
All right, yeah. I understand that now.
I actually loved this one also. So I also said no, and they won't be read and write won't be able to do. What I used to lab it was I copied sysprep from Windows System 32 and sysprep. So I just copied this folder. Oh, sorry, no, not that. See, so I copied this one from here and I pasted here. And I just made sure that it's not transferring any permissions across. So you can see April as read and write only, no read and execute, and that applies to. So yeah. Then if we go back to client 1 and see what April can do, and then we have this folder here, and then go into sysprep and try to execute this application. Say no, you can't. Because read and execute is different from write. So execute permission is different from write permissions. So it won't be able to execute anything that is an executable. But user 2 will be able to because he has read and execute. So he can write, he can create a new folder here because he has write permissions, but he can't execute any executables. So it's a different permission. Yeah. Okay, nice one, man. I think we'll just stop here we'll pause here for today. Shami, I'll be willing to help you. So let's arrange a time that between now and tomorrow, that we can just quickly run through some of this because Shami is taking his exam on Monday, right? Yeah. So let's arrange. Even if I think Sunday night will probably be appropriate. Will you be okay with like Sunday evening or Sunday night?
Yeah, Sunday night's cool with me.
Yeah. Okay. So
whenever it suits you, I can make time around you.
Yeah. Because I'll be with my wife this weekend, so we're going out this weekend. So Saturday won't be good, but Sunday will definitely be good for me. So I'll contact you, drop you an email, drop you a message, contact you on Hangouts, and then we can go for it and just run through as much as possible.
Okay, sounds good, man. Thank you.
Okay, no problems, man.
Nice talking to you all, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Nice to you guys. Yeah. So yeah, I'll
and good luck to you, Shami.
Yeah, good luck, Shami. Yeah.
All the best.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
I will do.
Yeah. Okay. See you later.
Cheers. See ya.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay.